The National Broadcasting Company presents Radio City Playhouse, Attraction 27. Ladies and gentlemen, here is your director, Harry W. Junkin.
Thank you, Bob Warren. Friends, it is always a pleasure, even an honor, to welcome Jan Miner and John Larkin to Radio City Playhouse. It is a pleasure because they are fine people and an honor because they are very talented artists indeed. Their joint appearance invariably results in an exciting broadcast, as all of you know who are regular listeners, and we feel that our play tonight is no exception. Also with us this evening, Mr. Stephen Schnabel, whom we welcome to the Playhouse most heartily. Here, then, our two favorite performers, Jan Miner and John Larkin, with Stephen Schnabel in 1 from 3 Leaves 2, Attraction 27 on Radio City Playhouse.
It is September in the Swiss Alps. A party of 12 has set out to climb the Matterhorn, one of the most exciting and romantic mountains in the world. There are 12 in the party, but our story concerns only the leading 3 people in the winding, straggling line. By 4 o'clock of the first day out, the group had arrived at the hut shelter which overlooks the sea of glaciers around Mount Rosa. At 5 the next morning, they were again on the climb. The air is clear, but the wind chips needle points of ice from the mountainside and hurls them against the upward struggling faces. 13,000 feet, and still up, 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 up. Slowly, painfully, gaspingly, for the air has thinned. Suddenly, one of the party stumbles and grabs at a large rock which loosens from its bed. The rock rolls, and the climber screams. Suddenly, there is consternation. The third man from the front of the line steps against the wall of the mountain and twists his rope 3 times around a jutting crag of stone, hangs on, and prays. But the rolling rock becomes 2, the 2 become 4, and the 4 become 1,000. The dread call is heard. The roar was deafening. The avalanche gained in momentum. Millions of tons of rock and ice and snow flowed like a gigantic wave of water down, 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 down. Until, at last, there was silence. Except for the wind. Less than 30 feet above the 3 survivors is the last hut shelter before the summit. In silent, shaking terror, the 3 finally reach the hut and stumble in. The first is a woman, Stella Wainwright.
I can't stand it. I can't stand it.
The second is Dr. John Greville.
Oh, stop it, for goodness sakes. Crying won't get us anywhere.
The third is the guide, a young man known simply as Rudolph.
Will you please stop crying?
I can't. All of them gone. Swept away like...
Please don't.
Like... I think I'm going to be sick.
No, you're not. Here, take a swig of this. Now, that's better. Please try to control yourself. Here, Rudolph, you want a drink?
Thanks, Dr. Greville.
Yes, I'm sick. I'm so cold.
Sit down. That's it. Now try to hang on to yourself. Are you all right, Rudolph?
Yes, Dr. Greville. I'm all right.
I'm so sorry.
For heaven's sakes, control yourself.
let me alone for a minute.
All right. Well, Rudolph, what do we do first?
First, Dr. Greville, we make a fire.
To my life story. At 38, I feel like an old man. Ever since medical school, I've been chasing this cancer thing. You work for a year, then scrap it. Start all over again. I haven't had a holiday for 10 years. That's why I came
Will
out
you stop playing with those keys? Well, it makes me nervous, jingling them all the time.
You're rather easily made nervous, aren't you?
I'm sorry. Please go on. Do you really think you can cure cancer?
Not cure it, but stop it irrevocably if it's caught early enough.
It must be very rewarding. Clinic and everything. Helping people like that.
Yes, it is.
I wish I could stop thinking about
Please.
the Hendricksons and Mrs. Beaubien, all of them just swept away like that, dead.
Oh, there's no use crying, Mrs. Wainwright. Please,
Well, you're a doctor. You're used to seeing people die. I've never seen anyone die. What's Rudolph doing?
He said he would try to find a way down.
Well, he's been gone almost half an hour.
He'll be back.
Well, I don't relish being left up here alone.
Rudolph will be back.
Getting cold again. Can't you do something with that stove?
Well, I think we should conserve the wood.
Why?
Well,
Don't you think we'll get back down?
Of course we'll get back down.
Then why are you saving the wood?
I think it's only sensible to be careful.
You're afraid, aren't you? You're just as afraid as I am, but you don't dare show it.
We'll get back down.
How long will the wood last? Well, how long will it last? You don't think we'll get back down, do you? We're going to have to stay here, aren't we? We're going to have to stay here and wait for someone to come after us, maybe for days. Aren't we?
Please, Mrs. Wainwright, for goodness sakes, control yourself and stop thinking about the mountain, about getting down. Now, tell me about yourself. I've told you my life story. Let's have yours.
All right. I was a thing called a New York debutante. Highly decorative but very useless type of female that dances well, plays bridge well, rides, shoots, skis, climbs mountains, and finally marries somebody from Wall Street.
Is that what you did?
Yes.
And then what?
Then I couldn't take the ordinary responsibilities of marriage, and I divorced him.
I see.
Don't you approve?
Am I supposed to?
Not necessarily.
Go on.
I am also considered one of the 10 best-dressed women in the world. I have quite a lot of money and very good teeth. I weigh 120 pounds. I almost got a BA, but didn't quite make it. I almost had a baby and didn't quite make that either. I joined the wax because I thought it was the thing to do, and was discharged as emotionally unstable. I was rather ashamed of that because if Rudolph just went out to reconnoiter, why isn't he back?
Now go on with your story.
Well, there's no story, Dr. Greville. I've never given anything of myself to anything. I'm selfish and I'm spoiled and... Am I embarrassing you?
Just a little.
Why?
Because I want to like you. And the way you talk makes it very difficult.
Well, that's certainly an honest comment.
You're a very beautiful girl.
Thank you, sir.
If you'd relax,
This is hardly the place to quarrel.
it might be a place for you to grow up.
Have we any cigarettes left?
Yes, we have 3.
Then I'll have one.
Oh, Madame has spoken.
Well, you said there were 3.
Yes, and I can see you giving myself mine after you've had your share.
I think I'll be able to manage.
You'll probably smoke all 3.
Why have you suddenly become patronizing and rude?
I'm sorry, here.
Never mind.
Go on, take it.
I don't want
Well, make up your mind.
Please, Dr. Greville, let's not snap at each other.
Oh, Rudolph, we'd almost given you up.
Dr. Greville, we are in a very dangerous position.
I think we realize that, Rudolph.
But perhaps not how dangerous, Dr. Greville. Will you both come to the window, please?
We looked before, but we couldn't see anything.
Fog has cleared now.
How unbelievably beautiful.
Yes, isn't it?
Not to me.
Well, you're used to it, Rudolph.
Over there is Mont Blanc. To the north is the Jungfrau. Italy is there, to the south.
What's that one?
Monte Rosa. The avalanche has swept away all the formation between the hut here and the hangover.
You mean where the shoulder sticks out over the rest of the mountain?
Yes.
I don't quite understand.
If you will look straight down, Mrs. Wainwright. The hut is perched on the edge of a 6,000-foot drop. I am of the opinion it is not safe to stay here.
You mean we're liable to topple over?
The least jar would dislodge us.
Well, then, why don't we start down?
That's just it.
What is it, Rudolph?
It is a very difficult descent. Very difficult. I've been climbing mountains since I was a child. I've never seen anything like it.
Well, we'll just have to be extra careful.
I will go out now and try to cut steps in the ice to the first hangover. If I go beyond that, I cannot get back. From where the steps will stop, there will be 300 feet that...
Come on, Rudolph, what are you trying to say?
It is a very difficult situation.
Well, being coy about it won't help.
It is a question of the rope.
Rope?
Yes, there is not enough for free.
What do you mean?
I mean that there is not enough rope for free people to get down.
Well, then one of us will have to get along without rope.
Have you ever climbed a mountain before, Mrs. Wainwright?
Once in Banff in Canada,
There
but I
is
don't...
not enough rope for free people.
That's ridiculous. I don't see why if there's enough rope for one...
Wait a
there
minute,
isn't
Mrs. Wainwright. Just what do you mean, Rudolph?
I mean that only two of us can make the descent.
Well, you're the experienced one. You know this mountain backwards. You'll have...
Mrs. Wainwright, without me, you and Dr. Gravel would not progress 30 feet beyond the point where the steps would stop.
Nonsense.
No, Mrs. Wainwright. It's better for one to stay behind and for you and Dr. Gravel both to die.
I don't believe it. I just don't believe it. We managed to get up, and surely we can manage
Rudolph. Are you sure about this?
Yes, Dr. Gravel, I'm sure. I will be glad to give you and Mrs. Wainwright the rope, but you're inexperienced climbers. I would not let my worst enemy attempt this descent without me. There is nothing left to the overhang. Is as smooth as glass. The avalanche has removed every foothold. The only way we can get down is for one of you to be tied to me. I'm sorry. There is no other way.
Well, then one of us can stay here.
Yes, Mrs. Wainwright. One of us can stay here.
Why do you say it like that?
One of us can stay here, Mrs. Wainwright, but not inside this hut. I told you that. Every moment it is liable to go over the edge. Even a strong wind would dislodge it.
Well, nobody can stay outside in this weather. It's impossible.
That is very true, Mrs. Wainwright.
When do you and Mrs. Wainwright propose to start, Rudolph?
Well, I will not leave Dr. Greville here by himself. We'll have to stay and wait for a rescue party. He'll never be able to
Mrs.
make...
Wainwright, I would suggest that you do as you're told and talk as little as possible.
Oh, you would you? Why, you impudent, ill-mannered...
That'll do, Mrs. Wainwright.
Who does he think he is, ordering me what to do and when to talk? The minute we get back, I'll have him discharged. I never...
Thank you, Mrs. Wainwright. I see the idea has occurred to you. However, I shall repeat it. Without me, you will never get back at all. You will die of cold and exposure. I shall go out now and cut steps in the ice to the first shoulder. We must start in half an hour. Will you be ready, please, when I get back, Mrs. Wainwright?
Yes, Rudolph, I'll be ready. And I'm sorry if I was rude.
I'll be as quick as I can.
Can we have one of those cigarettes now?
Why not?
Thanks. I've a cigarette lighter somewhere. Oh, here.
Ah, that's some gadget.
It works.
Are those diamonds real?
All 85 of them. Thanks.
You're welcome.
So cold. Horrible, stinking mountain.
I'll fix the fire.
Oh, don't. Please don't.
Why not? You're cold, aren't you?
But you'll need the wood.
I always say there's nothing like a good fire to keep the party going. Keep everybody warm and comfortable. I'm sure you'll be warmer soon.
Why do you treat me like this?
No, I thought I was doing the right thing, keeping you warm, comfortable, protected. Never let it be said that John Greville didn't take care...
Look, Dr. Greville, let's not get hammy. I may be a little thoughtless, but I'm not entirely callous.
Aren't you?
No, I'm not.
I'll be all right.
You won't be all right.
The hut will stand.
The hut won't stand. It's shaking now.
I'll be the only one that's inconvenient.
We can't leave you. We simply can't leave you. We'll all have to try to make it together.
That means none of us will make it.
Well, then we'll take that chance.
Rudolph won't.
Rudolph will do as he's told.
Why don't you grow up, Mrs.
But
Wainwright?
we can't leave you here. We just can't leave you here to freeze.
Look, which is it to be? 3 of us for sure, or me taking my chances? Rudolph has to go. He knows the way. He's experienced. He's a professional climber. We're not. We're frightened and green. There's only enough rope for 2. Now, will you shut up and relax? I appreciate your concern, but there's no use having an emotional binge about it.
You can't do it.
Can't do what?
Lose that clinic.
Oh.
But you've just raised the money.
Let's not talk about
I
it.
want to talk about it. If you stay up here, it means you'll die. Almost without any doubt, you'll be dead in a couple of days. Even if a hut does stand, there's nothing much to eat. A few crackers, a couple of cans
If you
of
don't
soup.
mind, I'd rather not talk about it.
Well, if you don't mind, I would.
Since it's me that's staying behind, I think I deserve some consideration.
John. May I call you John?
Yes, if you wish.
Well, I wish you'd just keep very still and listen to me for a moment.
I
And please don't interrupt. I know that the way you've been brought up, the way you've been taught to act, makes it, well, in fact, compels you to insist that I go with Rudolph.
Mrs.
Now,
Wayne.
please, you promise not to interrupt.
I know what
You promise not to interrupt. You see, John, I haven't been a very happy woman. And I haven't been worthwhile. I'm trying not to make this sound melodramatic. I don't mean it to be, but...
Well, then stop. It is melodramatic.
Why can't you keep quiet a moment?
Because I know what you're going to say, and it's ridiculous.
Ridiculous? Dear God in heaven, why do men think that no woman can ever mean anything? Don't you suppose that I envy you? Don't you suppose that I'd like to be doing what you're doing? Do you think I'm happy the way I'm living? Do you think I enjoy going around with the dancing boys? Don't you think that I'm so bored most of the time I could throw up?
I'm not interested in whether you're bored or not.
Can't you possibly believe that I want to stay? That I honestly believe your life means more to the world than mine does? Can't you treat me as if I were a fellow human being instead of a...
Instead of a what?
What do you think I am?
And what do I think you are? Come on, let's hear you say it.
Forgive me, Dr. Greville. I apparently thought you were more of a man than you are.
You know, if by any strange chance you've meant all this, then I'm sorry. You see, I don't have much to do with women like you. Most of my patients aren't anywhere near the 10 best-dressed women in the world, and I'm afraid I don't think it's a very worthwhile distinction. I'm sorry if I've been rude. I don't want to stay here. I don't think your life is as valuable as mine. In fact, I don't think your life is valuable at all. I'm quite aware that looking at our plight philosophically, I'm perhaps doing the wrong thing by letting you go and staying here. Unfortunately, I just can't imagine doing anything else.
Well, I guess that's settled.
And it isn't because of what people would say. Nobody in New York would know that I just left you here. And even if they did, I don't know that I care. I think that my work is more important than my reputation. If people want to say I'm the kind of man who leaves women to fend for themselves on top of a mountain, so what? No, it isn't any of the reasons you think, Mrs. Wainwright. It's just that all my life, I've worked to try to save lives. I can't get out of the habit.
Oh, this isn't happening. It's...
The first time you face reality, it's a good thing.
Do you want me to face it all out?
Yes, if you like.
I wonder if knowing all about a person makes you like that person more or less.
I don't intend to have a mutual confession period, if that's what you're driving
Why
at.
can't you treat me as if I were adult?
Because I don't think you
Well,
are.
I would be if you give me the chance. Maybe I don't deserve it. Maybe I have been pretty giddy up to now, but I'm not exactly no good all the way through.
Oh, I know you're not.
Sometimes I've had moments when I was really quite proud of myself.
What were they?
Oh, at Cannes once, I pulled a kid out of the Mediterranean. Scrawny little French kid that looked like he'd never had enough to eat. His mother saw it all happen. When I finally got him back to the beach, she put her arms around me, kissed me. I could taste the tears. She didn't say anything, just kissed me. And then started in to give the kid the wailing of his life. But I never forgot the feeling at that moment. You think I'm being corny, don't you?
No. No, I don't think you're being corny.
Well, it's the only time I ever felt really good. Really good inside.
I know.
You've had many of those moments, haven't you?
I've had a few.
Can't we be very honest with each other, please?
All right.
I'd like you to kiss me. And I'd like you to call me Stella.
All right. Stella.
You're very different from the men I've known.
Probably a lot poorer.
No, well, maybe that, but that isn't what I meant.
How am I different?
If I knew exactly, maybe I could be more like you.
It's a very nice thing to say. I don't deserve it.
Oh, John. Can't you feel it? Or is it just this stinking, rotten mountain? Is it just that maybe you're going to have a hard time getting down and that... What is it? You can feel it, too? Can't you?
Yes, I can feel it.
The way I feel it?
I think maybe the way you feel it, yes.
But why? Why should it be this way?
I don't know.
Can we split that last cigarette?
I don't see why not. Here.
Thanks.
Ah, yes. The lighter again. Complete with 85 diamonds.
And it works.
Thank you.
What do you really think your chances are?
Oh, I don't know.
But what do you think?
I've been in some pretty tight places before.
Well, do you think that... Oh, John, I'll get every rescue party in the country. I'll hire an airplane and drop your food. You get off.
Sure, I'll get off.
When you do, can we see something of each other?
Oh, yes.
A lot?
Yes, a lot.
What isn't the mountain, is it? It isn't the snow and danger and the cold.
No, it isn't the mountain.
Well, then what is it?
I think we've done what you said a while back. We've gotten to know all about each other in a matter of a few moments.
And what do you know about me?
I know that you're not what you seem. That you're very different from the other 9 best-dressed women. In fact, I know that you don't belong to them at all. All you need is a chance to give.
And then?
And then you'd become a very wonderful person.
Will you help me?
I'll try.
I'm going to get very silly in a minute.
Not now, Stellan. Let's save that for later.
All right. If that's the way you want it.
That's the way I want it.
Would you kiss me once more? Rudolph will be back in a moment.
I think we should save that for later, too.
All right.
Isn't it silly the way every time I look at that ladder, I hate the rich?
I don't think it's silly. Not at all.
Do you remember how much it cost?
Yes. But I'd rather not say.
No, I'm curious. Tell me.
Well, something over $1,600.
To light cigarettes.
Yes. To light cigarettes.
And here's Rudolph.
John, I love you. I've got to say it. I love you. Please tell me.
Shh, not now. All ready, Rudolph?
Yes, Dr. Greville.
Got your jacket on, Stella?
Yes.
Here, I'll help you.
I love you. I love you.
There we are. I'll see you safely off. Oh, what did I do with those mitts?
On the floor.
Oh, yes, good. All right, let's start, shall we?
I'd like to speak to you, Dr. Greville.
Oh? What is it, Rudolph?
If Mrs. Wainwright wouldn't mind waiting outside.
Well, Mrs. Wainwright minds very much.
I haven't time to argue, Mrs. Wainwright. Will you please step outside, or do I have to...
I don't think that would be a good idea at all, Rudolph. What do you want to say to Dr. Greville?
Probably that Americans are crazy.
I would prefer to speak to you alone, Dr. Greville.
Would you mind, Stella?
I most certainly would. I think we established the fact earlier that I was not a child. What do you want to say, Rudolph?
Dr. Greville, I will leave you my overjacket and parka. I have very heavy underclothes. I will be warm enough so long as I keep moving. I think it is dangerous to sleep in this hut all night. I examined it before I came in. It can't possibly stand much longer.
But he can't possibly sleep outside. He'd freeze stiff. Well, can't we fix this thing so it'll be safer?
Mrs. Wainwright, you're a very nice woman, but you're not intelligent at all. There is very little chance that Dr. Greville will get out of this alive. The hut will not stand all night. He cannot get down off the mountain. It is 21 degrees below zero. I am sorry to upset your delicate, sensitive mind, but Dr. Greville is probably going to die within a few hours, whether he stays in the hut or not. Now, if that's quite clear, I suggest that we get started. There is my jacket and parka, Dr. Greville. And now, Mrs. Wainwright, if you don't mind...
I'm not going. I'm not going, I tell you.
Stella.
No, I'm not going. I'm not going to leave you here to certain death, and there's no use you're saying anything about it because I'm not going...
Rudolph!
I am sorry to do that to Mrs. Wainwright. I think you understand, Dr. Greville. I do not make a habit of striking women. But I do not make a habit either of arguing with hysterical American tourists on the top of the most dangerous mountain in the Alps. How shall we start?
He's right, Stella. Now, just go quietly.
All right.
We will tie the rope now. Excuse me, Mrs. Wainwright.
Go ahead.
Is that too tight?
No. That's all right.
Test the knot every once in a while. The rope gets hard when it's frozen. If the knot gets loose, call me. I'll tighten it.
All right.
Are you sure it's not too tight?
No, that's fine.
Dr. Greville, I am very sorry. I am very sorry about this whole afternoon. Goodbye.
Come with us as far as the steps go.
I am. The wind has gone down a little.
It always does before sunset.
We should make the lower shelter in a couple of hours.
Dr. Greville, if you and Mrs. Wainwright want the rope, I will be glad to give it to you.
No, Rudolph. I think we've been through that.
Then will you please go back to the cabin? I do not like this. It's goodbye.
There's enough rope that you don't have to stand beside me. Walk on ahead a little.
We'll do the best we can with the rescue party. Goodbye, Dr. Greville.
Can't you say it? Even once.
Oh, what's the use? Let's save it for later.
Please.
I'll get down all right, Stella. These people are used to mountains. They'll get up for me.
They won't.
No. No, they won't.
Wait a minute, Rudolph. Just 1 second, please.
Well, hurry, Mrs. Wainwright. Hurry.
I love you, John Greville. I love you, John Greville. And you love me. Don't you?
Stella, what's the use of trying to...
Don't you?
Please, Stella, let's not.
Don't you?
Rudolph is waiting.
Say it!
Yes. Yes, I love you. Oh, so help me, I love you.
Then... kiss me goodbye.
Oh, Stella.
Goodbye, John.
Goodbye, Stella. Stella! Stella, what are you... Stella! Rudolph! Stop her! Stop her!
Mrs. Wainwright! Don't, Mrs. Wainwright!
She undid the rope! She undid the rope! I felt her, Rudolph, when I was kissing her. I felt her hands move. I didn't...
Be careful, Dr.
I didn't-
Greville. Nothing near the edge.
Oh, can you see? Can't we do something?
It is nearly a mile down
The
there.
fool! A crazy, mad little fool should have known it. Oh, God! It's my fault. They and my talk about...
Dr. Greville, please. That was a very brave thing she did. She is not what I thought. That woman.
No. She's not what I thought either.
Take the rope, Dr. Greville. Must get started.
The rope.
One from 3, Dr. Greville. Leaves 2.
You have just heard Radio City Playhouse, Attraction 27, 1 from 3 leaves 2, as directed by Harry W. Junkin and written by Carrie Shaw and Emil Zubrin. Jan Miner was Stella Wainwright. John Larkin was Dr. John Greville. Stefan Schnabel played Rudolph. The music was specially composed and conducted by Dr. Roy Shields. Radio City Playhouse is supervised for the National Broadcasting Company by Richard P. McDonough.
This is Harry Junkin again. Next week on Radio City Playhouse, a story about a drama critic, a very unpleasant man whose egomania made a great many people, including himself, very unhappy indeed. Please join us next week for Deadline, Attraction 28 on Radio City Playhouse. Good night, everybody.
Bob Warren speaking. This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.